What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Thoughts and Divine Wisdom. Okay, I'm getting loaded, and now that I got time to spare, I decided to go ahead and do another video for today. Really investing my time into this career field. Okay. Anyways, today I want to talk to you about perfect. Yeah, perfect. We grew up listening to the religious version of what the church told you what perfect is. To smile, to think positive, to not do, to walk perfect, to act perfect, to be the typical Christian today. That's what perfect is to them, and that's what most of us was taught most of our lives. We were taught that we had to not like certain things. We were taught that we couldn't act a certain way. We were taught to think a certain way. So this is how we must walk because this is what God wants us to do. Well, I'm here to tell you that this is not what the church, the Christianity, what all religions teach today, Muslims, everybody alike teach today. That's not perfect. That is not perfect by the standards of what the divine spirit has been trying to teach everybody. No, that's not perfect. Perfect in the eyes of the divine is basically, it's not what you like. It's not your sexuality. It's not, you like, it's not about you liking certain music. No, it's not about those things. What being perfect is, it doesn't matter about your sexuality. You can be homosexual and still be chosen. You can be Muslim in the sense of, being chosen. It's about how you walk your path and the frequency that you exude. Now, it's easy to say, well, isn't that what religion is teaching? No. It's teaching a concept of what perfect is. And based on what they believe perfect is, look at all the evangelists today. That's what they consider perfect. Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, and the likes. Jimmy Baker, when he was around. Look at all the commentary praising God, but they have a cookie cutter appeal to them. Steve Harvey and all these people. This is what they teach, this aura that they give off. They talk with such smooth words and tell you this is what being perfect is. Shiny teeth and having shiny suits and having a certain status in life and having a certain walk, a famous walk in life. This is what society and social media teaches you today. It teaches you to be these things in order to be perfect. So for me, I'm like, should I walk around like I'm Steve Harvey to be perfect? Because after all, they're the ones who's making the money. After all, the Bible does say you know, if you ask, you shall receive, and all that stuff. So I guess they've been asking, and they're the only ones receiving, right? Is this what perfect is? Is this what we're seeing? Is based on being perfect? No, it's not. They all follow each other. They all say the same things. They all act a certain way. And they all talk smoothly in their walk to make the regular people think that what they're doing, what they're saying is perfect. No, that is not what perfect is. So let me explain what being perfect is more in depth. Okay? Being perfect is not about how you look. Being perfect is not about how much money you got. Being perfect is not about, status. It's not about none of that. But when you talk to the blue check marks don't respond to regular people. They only talk to other blue check marks. White check marks don't talk to regular people. They only talk to white check marks or blue if the blue check mark decides to make a comment. This is how they got the game. But I digress. What perfect is not these things, okay? What perfect is in your flaws. Your walk is a certain way from the standpoint of you learning your life lessons. You doing the shadow work. You going on to your life mission. You clearing who you are, putting down the identity. To the divine, this is perfect. He doesn't care if you smoke. He doesn't care if, the divine spirit doesn't care if you smoke weed. The divine spirit does not care if you're homosexual. It's about within. Because when you look at life, everybody from every culture has a different walk in life. Is any one of them correct? No. What is? The work from within. That's the perfect thing. So, you hearing Christians, it's wrong for you it's wrong for you to be gay. It's wrong for you, and this is all religious really. It's wrong for you to walk this way or talk this way or act this way or do all these things. Not realizing that they are far from what the truth really is. And with those religions, they have created wars throughout history based on their belief system. So, again, what is true is the internal work. This is what he is choosing from, not the outer appearance and the status and the image and the money and everything else. This is also why He said, for the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. What a powerful statement. What did he mean by that? What did the divine spirit mean by that statement? It means that these tomfooleries that are sitting out here saying and doing all these things for decades, they've had the lead in society. For decades, they have been the guardians of popularity, the guardians of TV, the guardians of movies, the guardians of everything, the guardians of music, the guardians of all things. They have been there on top for the last 60 to 70 years since TV really started back in the late 40s. And radio. They have been the guardians since the beginning of social media of any format, of any format. They have been there. So much so, when you try to talk to them today, they look at you as a nobody. So much so that they don't associate with regular people. They only talk in their little circles. Other circles intermingle with other circles, but they just as popular as this circle over here, and this circle over here is popular as this circle over here. And they intermingle, they from different circles, but they'll intermingle with different circles. The artists will intermingle with the actors and actresses. The athletes will intermingle with the artists and the models and everything else. They only talk to each other. That's real talk. And I'm gonna keep harping on that, because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Okay? So, who you are is not determined by what society told you is popular. Who you are and what is being chosen is not determined by your status and how you look. Who you are is not determined by what they tell you is popular. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Gotta take a break right quick. And we are back. Okay, sorry about that. As you know, I drive a truck and certain operations are happening while we're doing this video. And sometimes you gotta check on responsibilities. Okay. But who you are is not determined by these things. This is not what the divine spirit is looking at. What he is looking at is your frequency. What he is looking at, how you doing the shadow work. What he is looking at is how you doing your life lessons. What he is looking at is how you are changing your mindset to walk this narrow gate. This is what he's looking at. And guess what? The statement, the first shall be last and the last shall be first, that is going to show itself. Do you honestly think all these celebrities and artists and actresses and everybody and athletes, they're going to be the lead? If you left it up to regular people, yeah, they'll be the lead. Freaking Bill Gates would be the Messiah. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos will be the Messiah. because of how much money they got. Michael Jordan will be, if you left it up to the people, Michael Jordan and all the major athletes would be the chosen if you left it up to people. If you left it up to the people, they would choose all of the famous people, all the celebrities, all the popular legend athletes. They would choose all these people. And if you left it up to them, you would never be chosen whatsoever. You would never be chosen. And that's why the divine spirit told you, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. That's real talk. That's what's going on. Okay? So, everybody who is in fear of their sexuality, who feels like they have boundaries up, who feels like, society is against them, no. The divine is not against you. He chooses who he pleases. Yes, he does. All this bull crap the religions have been teaching is straight BS. It don't mean a goddamn thing. It doesn't at all. That's why I love the LGBTQ plus community. Many blessings to them. I love my regular people. And you see how labels work? I gotta differentiate to let them know, hey, you are welcome, you are accepted. There is no such thing as, oh, you can't be. No. That's not it. And that's what society that we live in. Right now, we live in a country. I live in America. We live in a country where skin color matters so much. I live in a country that, based on how you live your life, you can get shunned by people because of what they believe for damn near a century, which is bullshit. It don't mean nothing. You got people who shun people because they went to prison. You don't know who the divine will choose. You don't know who. It's not no goddamn Steve Harvey. It's not no goddamn, what's it, Beyonce or whoever like that. It's not one of them. Now, even though I think Beyonce is so fine, but no, just because you're the most popular singer don't mean that you supposed to be chosen. Yeah, you are famous based on your singing, but it don't go no farther than that. And the divine spirit knows that. The divine spirit knows that. And also, too, the reason why the first shall be last is because they have been successful. Do you realize that most of the rich and the wealthy have been rich and wealthy for decades and some centuries? Here you are struggling, trying to make ends meet, going paycheck to paycheck, whatever. Not even stopping, not to say that you're looking in someone else's lane. I'm just saying, if you just really look at this thing that's before you, most of those people have been wealthy for decades. They have problems, but they ain't never struggled like you, because, as you know, money creates options. That's it. But they never had to worry about that. They never had to worry about any of that for decades. Imagine not struggling financially for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Can you imagine that? Some of them are living that life. But they aren't the chosen. They aren't the ones going through the narrow gate. They are not. The last shall be first is. We the ones going through the path, the walk, the struggle, the fight, being the wounded warrior. We are going through that. We are the ones that's taking the wounds and keep moving. Learning the life lessons and keep moving. That's what we are doing. Okay? So, make a long story short, man, don't be afraid of who you are. Okay? Don't be afraid of who you are. Be proud of who you are. It don't matter what your sexuality is. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter if you went to prison or not. It don't matter, how many bodies sexually you got on you. That was a walk, and that was the part of your journey. In order for you to get to the light, you had to go through all that to make sense of your path. But once you do the shadow work, and once you put down the identity, and once you learn the life task and do those things or whatever, you put the things that you went through back into perspective of saying, you know what, I learned those lessons. Like for me, personally, and everything, I've been through a lot of relationships and got hurt in every single one. I had to learn that lesson. It took me 48 years to realize, I ain't going through this crap no more. I'm done. I love me more than this crap. I'll never place myself in one of those little boxes ever again. I will be me until the end of time. And if you don't like it, you can go that way. So, yeah, this is a short video, but I just wanted to express these things to let you know that you're not by yourself. Who you are does not efface the divine spirit. What does is what's in here. That's what he's looking at. That's what's being perfect is. Not fulfilling these man-made laws that they have prescribed to the people. Not any of that. Not following the Muslim, what's the name or whatever. Not following the Hindu, whatever. None of that is what's being looked at. What's being looked at. And also, every chosen, every son of man, from Moses to Noah to everybody, to Vishnu to Shiva and Shakti to Buddha. Why was they chosen to be enlightened? It wasn't the struggle. It wasn't the money they had. It was what they were doing inside here. That is the key. That is the key. The shadow work, the mindset, the walk, because of the shadow work and mindset. They were chosen because of what the inner work that they did in their path. Facts. Real facts. Real facts. Okay? So, be proud. Don't be afraid. The naysayers will be the naysayers. Even the homosexual community have their issues and what's going on, even with some of their own selves. The straight people have issues going on, including themselves. I know some homosexuals get shunned by family, friends, and society in certain places. Guess what? We straight, I ain't gonna say. Okay. Regular people is being shunned and talked down to and disrespected on the end, so it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. Okay? I love everybody. And my focus. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. We're back once again. Yeah, like I said, I got responsibilities I got to take care of, so got to do that. Okay. All right. So, the divine spirit is accepting of everyone. There is no limitations to who he chooses. Okay? There's no limitation to who he chooses. And no, he is not a hater of the people. He is not. The divine spirit is not a hater of people. Okay? There was a saying that I always heard, and I'm going to wrap it up because I do have to go. My load's over, but I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to edit and finish the video, put it together, and put it up. But there was a saying that stuck to me, okay, that I want you all to understand. And listen to it, and listen to it well. If the divine can take a murderer to free his people, if the divine can take a adulterer and conspiracy to murder person to lead his people, if the divine spirit can take a prostitute to protect his people, then surely he can use you to bars. That's facts. Okay. But I'm going to have to end this video for right now. And thank you guys for listening and watching. Okay. Like I said, I'm here on this journey just like you. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Send the email to thoughts and divine and the symbol and divinewisdom@gmail.com. And I put it in the description, so if you are trying to figure out what it is, I put the email in the description of the video. I do it every single time. Alright? Until then, I look forward to seeing you guys again and have another awesome video But until then, I'm gonna say peace out until the grease is out. Take care. I'll talk to y'all later. Until next time.